right, welcome to our spring grad student symposium for those that are here with us or those that'll be watching later. I wanted to start with giving our faculty an opportunity to introduce themselves, especially to online students that might be watching this later who don't know much about our faculty. Um, I'll start by introducing Dr. Morris. Dr. Morris, could you tell us just a little bit about yourself and your research background?
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Morris. This is my fifth year at SUNY Cortland, I believe. I tend to teach the event management course and the research methods course within our grad program. I think I'll be teaching the athlete development course this coming fall. But my research background is in women in sport. So originally women's participation, girls' participation, particularly in non-traditional sports like ice hockey and rugby, but I really expand that to women in sport and sport management as a whole. So I've done some research actually with Dr. Voris and Dr. Mahoney, looking at women in our sport management program and how we can better support women in our program.
That's award-winning
It
research.
is actually
Or
award-winning research. And I've also looked at sexual harassment within athletic administration, which is primarily reported by women. So kind of anything involving women and women participating in sport and sport management is kind of my research home.
And Dr. Mahoney, can you introduce yourself to our grad students and tell them a little bit about your background?
Sure. So I am Dr. Mahoney. I teach at the grad level mainly sport enterprise and policy and strategic management of sport. So there's some other ones thrown in there, but those are the core classes that I teach on a consistent basis. In terms of research, I do a lot of participation sport research as well. So part of it was looking at charity sport. So looking at how nonprofits can use sport as a way to raise funds for their organizations. I also have some research in using technology in sport, focusing on social media and social fitness platforms, and now transitioning into some esport research. So a couple different areas in that context. Yeah, so it's nice to meet you guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll put this up on YouTube later so students can tune in and hopefully get the information because, like I said, I have a lot prepared today. Dr. Morris and Dr. Mahoney, could you do me a favor? If another faculty member joins us, can you let me know? Because I'm going to share a PowerPoint in a moment. And then for the students that are joining us here today, if you have any questions as I'm going through, if you want to throw them in the chat, and again, I'll ask Dr. Mahoney's and Morris to keep an eye on that. Because like I said, today's going to be an overview of just some reminders in the program, some resources for those that are tuning in live today or those that are going to be watching the video later on. So without further ado, I'm going to go right into what I have prepared for you today. So it's co-titled Getting the Most Out of Your Tuition Dollars, and you're spending good money on grad school. So let's put those tuition dollars to work. I thought I'd start by showing you what you all get at the end of this grad school journey, which is this hood here. Some of you may not be aware of the fact that at graduation, you wear a different kind of gown. It's got these longer sleeves on it. And then at the graduation ceremony, you actually get hooded. Here's a picture of myself, or half my face, and Dr. Beering here, hooding one of our graduates from a few years ago. So you get this nice long hood at the end of graduation that you get to show off to your family and friends or whatever. The sash there that student is wearing is if you're an international student or if you've traveled internationally. So something to motivate you to work towards is that hopefully we're all together and we can take nice pictures like this at a graduation one day. So,
Dr. Morris, before you get too far in there, we were just joined by Dr. Kobritz. So if you
oh,
wanted to.
fantastic. Dr. Kobritz, are you there? Do you have a microphone?
I do have a microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you want to do a quick introduction of yourself and a short overview of your background?
Other than saying that I apologize for being late, which
Okay.
happens to be my MO lately, which I apologize for. Thank you and good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Tara, for recognizing that I did finally log on. You already know my name. I've been at SUNY Cortland. This is my 9th year, and I've been in education for a long time. But I subscribe to the theory that age is just a number and mine is unlisted. So I never tell people how long I've been in academia because most of them can add and draw a straight line between those two facts. But in any event, I teach primarily grad courses and primarily online, although I have taught in the classroom since I've been at SUNY Cortland. My background, I've had, well, probably 3 careers. I was a practicing attorney for a decade. I've also, as I indicated, been in academia, started teaching when I was a junior at Georgetown, actually. And after 10 years practicing law, I decided I wanted to get involved in sports. And so I gave up my law practice, and long story that I might write a book about at some point if I, quote, retire. I got involved in baseball, and for the last several decades, I've been involved in minor league baseball, either directly or indirectly, including currently involved with a team, a AA team in minor league baseball. So hopefully that covers it. I've seen some names. I know some of you are in my classes for the first time. Nice to meet you all. I hope you can say the same thing, especially after you get your first grades. If you haven't already, I think most people have gotten their first grades in my course. But in any event, nice to be here and glad to see all these faces. And thank you, Ryan, for putting this together. And thank you, Tara. And I see Aaron's picture here. I assume you're on as well, Aaron. So
Yep.
I think it's great that people were able or took the time, made the effort to get on.
Yeah, I'm. Thank you, Professor Coberts. I'm also going to record this and try and put it on YouTube because we're going to go through a bunch of kind of, basic grad school stuff, try and answer some questions, talk about resources for the students. So thank you very much. And if you're wondering, it's the Wichita minor league team, right? Wichita Wind Surge, AA affiliate of, I want to say Marlins, but was that your New Orleans team?
We're the AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. We started life in Wichita as the AAA affiliate of the Marlins, but that was in 2018 when we first got to Wichita. But we ended up building a ballpark there. So we weren't ready to play until last year. And of course, there was no minor league baseball last year. So this is actually our first year of playing ball in Wichita. We just got our schedule last Friday. Announced it publicly yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're looking forward to finally playing ball. Hopefully.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have those minor league sports back, even AHL. So many opportunities in those, especially compared to the professional leagues.
Well, and that's true. I think from student perspective, those of you and in this program, it's everybody, undergrad and grad, that are required to do internships. It has been a struggle, and that's an understatement. And I know some faculty, including faculty that are on this call, have been over backwards to assist students to come up with alternatives to the so-called traditional internships. But as satisfactory as that may have been under the circumstances, I know students are looking forward to engaging in those traditional type internships where they get on the ground, hands-on, get to be able to see situations where they can say, okay, that theory that we learned in the classroom, we now see how that's applied in the real world. And, that just gives you a different perspective and either confirms your career goals or confirms to you that your career goals need to be adjusted because this isn't really what you had in mind and it's not comfortable. So it is great for students, Ryan. You're absolutely correct.
Thank you for Professor Kobert. So I wanted to use the beginning of the symposium to just drop some reminders about the program. A lot of this information is already on our website, but I want to make sure everyone is aware of it as they go through the program. The first two are academic related. I wanted to remind everyone at the grad level, you need a grade of C minus or above in order for that to be counted. And this can get confusing sometimes because if you have a grade below C minus, your degree works may show you as being completed in that class. That's kind of a flaw in the system. And I actually emailed some people about this about 2 weeks ago trying to get it fixed, but that's a reminder. The other one is another one that I know you're familiar with if you read my emails, which is that you must maintain a 3.0 overall GPA. If it falls below that, you can be put on probation, and you need to have that before you complete the culminating project. So with those downers out of the way, so to speak, those necessary reminders, I wanted to use this opportunity to remind everyone about their culminating project. Now, if you're in my research methods class right now, or you're in a strategic management class, you may have been introduced to these already. But every student must finish the program with a 6-credit culminating class. That class can either be the internship, which is 480 hours. It can be a master's project, or it can be a master's thesis, which is original research. Now, students that are already that are scheduled to do their culminating project during the summer, you already got an email from me just asking for an update on that. Just an FYI, don't forget about that and chime in. I can give you more information on master's projects. I can give you more information on thesis, and we can always talk about the options with the internship, okay? Dr. Morris is actually overseeing all of our interns right now. Another reminder, if you're a part-time student, especially if you're an online student, 5 years or less to finish the program. So if you're on the very, very long 5-year plan, it cannot extend into 6 years or 7 years without special permission from the dean's office. Last reminder, and we've had a lot of this with, not a lot of this, but I've had more of it than I did before because of the pandemic, of students that say, hey, I need a semester break, or financially I can't do it right now, or because of the pandemic I can't do it right now. There is an option to take a no credit, no cost course called GRD 500. That allows you to maintain enrollment in the program, but essentially take a semester off at no cost, and you maintain enrollment in the program. And again, in a regular world, very few students would be doing that every semester. I've probably had 3 or 4 students do that every semester since last March. So for the fall and the spring, and I'm sure I may have some in the summer and the fall next year who want to do that again. So that option is out there. Keeps you in the program, no cost, no credit, basically like a paper course, okay? Other reminders, withdrawal deadline for the spring, 4/15. Registration going forward for summer and fall is scheduled to start in the beginning of April. So that's just a reminder that those of you that are in your first semester, or those of you that have more than one semester left to complete, you will register for summer classes and fall classes at the same time come April. And in just a minute, we'll talk about some of those options. Reminders for on-campus students, make sure you are registering for on-campus classes. I know that gets confusing in today's world when some classes go online, but online classes should be reserved for online students, and on-campus classes should be reserved for on-campus students. I wanted to remind everyone that as you're navigating through the program and you're trying to figure out what classes to take and when to take them, number one, I am here for consultation and to be your advisor. But number two, as grad students, my expectation is that you take a little bit more responsibility for when you take classes and what your schedule looks like. With that said, I wanted to remind everyone that if you go to our websites, either for the online program or the on-campus program, there is a course progression laid out for you. So you can always know what's recommended in what semester when you're in the grad program. And again, like I said, grad school comes in that place between undergrad and adulthood. So hopefully you're transitioning into taking more responsibility for your academic journey, certainly more responsibility than you did maybe as an undergrad. With that said, I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to get a reminder of what our course rotations look like. And again, for those of you that are watching this online, you can always pause this right now and write it down, or pause it right now and take a picture of it so that you can always know what our course rotations look like, especially those of you that are online or just started in the program and you're trying to get an understanding of when courses are offered. Our online courses and our campus courses over the last 2 years that I've been at the head of the program, and even before that, have generally operated under the same rotation. With that said, all kinds of things changed because of COVID. Just like in minor league baseball and in all the other sports, there were a lot of alterations to the established plan that was out there. Hopefully by fall 2020, knock on wood, we all get our shots and things are maybe back to normal. But again, some of this is COVID dependent, but this is the traditional rotation of when classes are offered. The only thing that I'll mention there that you should know is that those of you that are planning for summer courses, those are all online. So regardless if you're part of the on-campus program or the online program, everything during the summer is always offered online. Okay. Are there any questions that have come up, or any questions? You can drop them in the chat. Professor Mahoney and Professor Morris are diligently maintaining their observation of that chat to let me know, and feel free to chime in if I'm missing anything. Again, if you have a question, someone else watching this video in a day or a week or a month may have the same question, and you are their avatar today to ask that question if it comes up. Okay, so touched on our online. Oh yeah, that's a great question, Angelica. I saw that one. Thankfully, WebEx popped that one up on me. So Angelica asks, can online students walk at graduation? Absolutely. That's a great time to come and meet all your faculty and the fellow students whose names you have seen. So yes, you are more than welcome to come. Now we all have to cross our fingers, wear our masks, and get our shots and hope for a graduation this year. But regardless, online students, when we have a graduation, are very welcome to come. In fact, last year, the graduation speaker was supposed to be an online student. Usually they have one grad student speak at graduation, and it was going to be it was tentatively going to be a student from our program that was exclusively online. Okay, so moving on from reminders to grad student support. This is a name that all of you should know. Tracy works in our advisement and transition office. So if you have issues with your transcript or student support, anything that I, as your academic advisor, can't help with, make sure you reach out to Tracy in advisement. Okay, I mean, her full-time job is to deal with grad students, issues with support, for transcript, for graduation. You know, when I get emails with questions I can't answer, I usually direct people to Tracy. Okay, did someone have a question? I saw something pop up.
That was me. I just had a different question, but it's fine.
No, go ahead. Like I said, if you have the question, someone else is going to have it down the line when they're watching this.
Oh no, I put it in the WebEx, but just like a question on internships, if like it had to be in a certain time span, like 15 weeks, 10 weeks, or just like in a semester span.
Good question. Usually it's within the span of like 14 to 15 weeks, but we're super flexible with that because most internships don't coincide with the semester, especially the summer ones. So what usually happens is, you know, the student gets the internship, they talk to me, the graduate coordinator, and we just say, okay, the way this is probably going to work is you'll get an incomplete at the end of the semester, you continue in the internship. When it's all done, you let me know, I go back in and I change your grade. And I say that happens in probably 50% of circumstances. Okay. So yeah, it's not very few internships run concurrent with the semester. You know, minor league baseball does not run January 31st to May 15th. Okay. Other reminders for grad student support. If you're on campus, we do have a graduate student lounge. It's in Cornish Hall, room 121, and I pulled this little snippet off of their website. They have a microwave, a refrigerator, computers, especially nowadays, you know, if you're looking for a quiet place to study and you are on campus, don't forget about the grad student lounge that's on campus, or if you ever come as an online student to visit campus, that's your room. Check it out. Um, Career services. Every year I teach our introduction to Cortland student or our introduction to Cortland class for our freshmen. Every year I bring in speakers from career services. And every year I am reminded of all of the resources they have for students and how few students take advantage of them. This is your tuition dollars at work. So Cortland has a fantastic career services entity. Make sure you go on the Cortland website and familiarize yourself with their website and the resources that are available for you. They have a program on their website called Handshake. You'll see it right here in the menu. That is a database of jobs and internships that Cortland pays to get access to. Your tuition dollars are helping pay for that. Take advantage of it. Those of you that might be interested in becoming teachers, whether in the PE field or elsewhere, you'll notice on their website, they have resources for teacher certification. You'll notice the link here for internships. Those of you that are going out and looking for internships or looking for full-time employment that have resumes and cover letters, you should be talking to them before submitting those resumes and cover letters anywhere. This is their full-time job to review them. Sorry, I'm trying to get my lights to come back on here. A lot of students hand them over to faculty members, which is fine. We see a lot of them. People in career services, that's their career to look at resumes, to look at cover letters. So avail yourself of that option that Cortland is providing to you. Again, you can just go to the Cortland website, enter in career services, and go right to their website. And they have a lot of things that, as you can see there, are fully digital and online. So even those online students take advantage of Handshake, cover letters review, resume reviews, various workshops that they might have, all the cool career planning things that can be done. The Writing Center. Grad school is all about writing, right? You know, if I did a poll, maybe I wonder how many of the faculty even offer some kind of multiple choice test. I know I tend not to in almost all of my classes. It's almost all writing, and grad school is a lot of writing. Make sure you avail yourself of the Writing Center. Much like career services, all of their appointments are online now. So you do not have to go to Brockway Hall here on campus to get help with your writing. Use the Writing Center. Again, your tuition dollars at work, their funding is paid through your tuition, so take advantage of it. Even if it's, again, getting help with your cover letter and your resume. But all their appointments for spring 2021 are online. Again, cortland.edu, enter in Writing Center. And, you know, next time you have to go write a paper for Dr. Morris or Dr. Mahoney or Dr. Kobritz, check it with the Writing Center first. Other suggestions for grad students for improving their writing or becoming stronger writing, there are two apps that I use every day and that I also used when I was in grad school. The first one being Grammarly. I don't know if any of you use Grammarly. Maybe you can drop a yes in the chat if you are using Grammarly or you are familiar with it. But it's a lifesaver. It installs with your Microsoft Word, and it's a better version of the spell check and grammar check that Microsoft Word has. It will catch a lot of the mistakes that program misses. Same thing with the Hemingway app. It's another free app that you can download and install either in Google Docs if you write in Google Docs, or that you can install and use in Microsoft Word. Great for telling you that your sentences are too long. If you know anything about Ernest Hemingway, he was famous for his short, simple, declarative sentences and the conciseness in his writing. Keep in mind, in Google Docs and Microsoft Word, there are citation managers and research tools. If you're not familiar with those, you can always Google them. I don't have the time to go through how to use those today, but those are out there. I use them all the time in my research. easy references in APA, things like that. Okay. Have I missed any questions?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. We're at 2:30. I don't want to keep everyone too long, so we'll wrap up in another minute or two. Oh, yes. Wanted to talk about this last one. All right. Grad school is stressful, right? And this has been well documented over the last few years. Even when I was in grad school, it was a grind. And grad students tend to struggle with their mental health at a level that exceeds undergrads. And a lot of that is because you're working very hard, probably in jobs where you're not getting paid a lot, and you're transitioning into adulthood. And on top of that, we added a worldwide crushing pandemic that has made everything 10 times worse, right? So I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that we do have a counseling center on campus, and that right now, because of that crushing worldwide pandemic, they are offering telehealth. My sister is actually a counselor, not here in Cortland. She works in a hospital, but all her accounts or all her meetings are now online. And she told me a couple months ago that she's busier than ever because it's just easier for people to do that telehealth counseling. So whereas before she had a couple appointments every day, now her day is jam-packed because everybody can come and they don't miss out. So keep in mind, if you're struggling with everything going on and with grad school, don't worry, or there is help for you. You know, when I was in grad school, I'll admit it, I had to go to counseling in order to deal with the stress and the anxiety of trying to navigate through it. So don't be afraid to ask for help. This is your encouragement to go in and do it, even if you feel like everything is okay and you just need someone to talk to. That counseling center is free. And like I said, it can be done completely online. And hey, your tuition dollars still at work, paying for that counseling center. Take advantage and see if it can help navigate the complex world of going through grad school during a once in a generation, or once in a century, I should say, crushing pandemic.
May I chime in on the Cortland things that are helpful?
Yeah, go ahead.
For those of you that are on campus or live near campus students, Cortland has a food pantry on campus. It's in the Interfaith Center. It's open, I think 11 to 4, 10 to 4, something like that. I might have the times a little bit off, but it's open almost every day for a couple hours during the week. You need your SUNY Cortland ID card to get in, and they ask you to, wear a mask and all the social distancing protocols. But that is, not only is grad school mentally challenging for people, and I'll second Dr. Voris about the importance of counseling to get through grad school, but it's also financially challenging, and add the financial challenges of the pandemic to that, and a lot of grad students are hurting. So if food security is something that insecurity is something that you're facing, and you're near campus, please take advantage of the Cortland Food Pantry.
I'm embarrassed I didn't include that. Thank you for mentioning that, Dr. Morris. I'll try and include that in future ones. There's also, when you mentioned that, I was also thinking there's a clothing closet too, I think.
Yep.
Especially like if you need business professional clothes, like for an interview or something like that, they have the option to go and rent those. I will maybe include a slide for this when I send it out on that. Just a reminder to continue to kick butt as Red Dragons. My email's there. We do have various social media accounts, so if you want to keep informed about what's going on in the program, make sure you follow our Cortland social media accounts on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, so on and so forth. You can see the handle there. I think that's a good time to wrap up, right under 30 minutes for those that are watching. Or any of the students left, do you have any questions or concerns you want to express? Questions?
I have a question, but it's easier to ask rather than typing.